anyways because it's Pierce Pub and the chips are fabulous. But for those of you who came especially to see the performances, a million thank yous. I want to especially welcome the Susberries. Noelle is a graduating 3L. Her parents came down to see her perform. So welcome. And I love the integration of classes. Hello to all the 1Ls and the 2Ls and the 3Ls, welcome. But as most of you guys know, and welcome to the administration because they're way busier than all of us and they've taken time to come down and it wasn't for the chips. So thank you.
Oh, yes we are.
But as most of you guys know, it is Black History Month. And in honor of Black History Month, we just wanted to put something small together like we normally do, the Black law students do. And this year's theme is Our Voices. I know people's names and I will call out Austin. Yeah. So don't even. But this year's theme is Our Voices. And the idea of that, we made sure that voices was plural because the idea that there is no one Black narrative. Not every Black student or Black person comes from an impoverished city who had to fight to be where they're at. Not every Black student identifies with being African. So we wanted to bring to this event and to the law school the multiplicity, the duplicity in the Black narrative, and we hope that you guys can understand the diversity. So, I was going to recite something beautiful by Audre Lorde or by Langston Hughes or W.E.B. Du Bois, but I decided what better way to share diversity than to speak of my own experiences. So we can call it a poem. I'm calling it just like coming from my heart. Or when Lauren asked me, what are you going to say? And I'm like, my heart. So this is my heart. I think the weirdest thing about the notion of Blackness is that it's so fixed. That there's this idea that there is only one way to be Black. And I can quickly say that growing up, I was too white for the Black people, and I was too Black for the white people, and I was too American for the Nigerian people. My parents are Nigerian immigrants. So I never quite fit this notion. And the greatest thing about aging, besides the loans and the stress, is that idea of really coming into your own self. And growing up, I never felt like I belonged to my own self. I felt like I was always defining myself in relation to another. So if I wasn't Black enough, well then I was kind of Black. And if I wasn't American enough, then I was African. And if I wasn't African enough, then I was American. And it wasn't until I was in my 20s, which I still am, it wasn't until I was in my 20s that I decided that I was going to define who I was for myself. And I don't mind being called Black, but first and foremost, I'm Nigerian American. I am the product of Nigerian immigrants who did work hard to be here. My story isn't that I'm the first one to go to college. Honestly, my life was difficult. My dad died when I was young, but it wasn't a financial struggle. My biggest struggle was the notion of Blackness. I think the coolest thing about this community in particular is that there is no one Black narrative. I know people who are first-generation college students and first-generation American. I know people who come from ghettos and who come from the rich suburbs. I know people from Ghana and Kenya and Nigeria and the west side and the south side, and that is all Blackness, and that is all beautiful. And Audre Lorde tells us not to be anyone's darling in her poem, and W.E.B. Du Bois calls us to go back to Africa and to get in touch with our roots. And Smokey Robinson, in his poem, the Black American poem, tells us to reject the notion of Africa and be Black American in America. But what I tell you guys, when I tell all my fellow Black students and my fellow students, period, is be who you are. As we've gone through law school, most of us, the hardest thing is not classes. We're all brilliant. We're all really, really smart and terribly good looking. But the hardest thing is finding our own way and doing what we want to do and staying true to our convictions. The hardest thing about law school is being yourself. That's the hardest thing about Blackness too. So as we celebrate diversity, as we celebrate Blackness, there's an integration there. There's a similar struggle. There's a distinction. I don't believe in colorblindness. I believe that diversity is beautiful, and I believe that we are more alike than we are different. But I also believe that there's a similar human struggle. So as you hear these stories, as you see these dances, remember that struggle. Remember the multiplicity in the Black narrative. Remember that as you approach an individual, that person does not speak for the group. They don't speak for their family. They speak for themselves. So thank you so much for being here. Up next, we have Nicole reciting her own personal work from Personal Piece. Very exciting. Snap, good job. And then later on, Noelle will do a dance piece. But first of all, Nicole, the published author and the recent recipient of the American Bankruptcy Award from the College of Bankruptcy.
As Joyce said, my name is Nicole Stringfellow. I wrote this poem for Black men. I have 3 Black brothers, so this is dedicated to them. This poem's entitled, Why My People Hurt, for my Black brothers. It's not the staring and the pointing or the overt racism. It's the structure and the muteness that is the silent killer. It's the acknowledgement of our nothingness. It's the ignorance of our whims. It's that you never want anything to do with us. It's that this is a way you can still win. You see, in this country, you don't have to know us or even really care. You can continue your lives and ignore that we are there. You can move to your suburban neighborhoods and never interact with a thug from the hood. But if you ask me why my people complain, why they protest and march, it's easily understood. I will tell you that it's the hurt that kills us deep inside. It's the feelings we get when Trayvon Martin's killer walks the street. Where playing loud music comes with a death sentence. When being Black equates to criminal and menace. When we constantly have to prove ourselves more than the next. When our accomplishments are shocking and not norm for the test. When you are accused of stealing a watch because you couldn't have purchased that on your own. When we continue to live in a racially biased society, but no one will acknowledge it, and everyone tries to hide it. When any accomplishment you receive is given credit to affirmative action. When you are followed in the store for every little transaction. When you watch your little brother handcuffed because he was driving with the wrong colored skin. When there's no justice for little Black boys and old white men seem to win. When every bias confirms your suspicion, when Black babies in Chicago are shot at the age of 2. When our Black leaders are astounding, but you hate Obama too. When every Black male has the potential to be the modern day Emmett Till. When you keep on living in a bubble, gentrifying away our ills. When we see ourselves, our fathers, and our brothers in every single news story and tabloid cover. When even in our innocent death, we are made out to be criminals. When you have the privilege to not even know the death I'm referring to, because every dead Black man becomes just another statistic. When you try to tell us about your Black friends, when you don't know me and never will. When you buy into our cultural aspects because they are cool and the fun thing to do, but are the last to speak out when Richard Sherman acts a fool. When every day you wake up and you know the world thinks less of you. When you walk out of the house and have to think of the way you dress. When you know that you can be killed with a hoodie, a bag of Skittles, and some tea. People ask me why I say there's still racism, but please, it isn't just me. You see, it's this colorblind society we pretend to live in that's the culprit. But as you continue to live in this dystopian society, please remember this. We are losing an entire generation of Black men, all because of this. We are watching as mothers are putting their children into graves and receiving no justice. All we can do is hope and praise. Now, can you still wonder why my people hurt? Thank you.